Good evening, everyone. If you feel like dying, you've come to the right place. It's PragerU. The second most viewed video on their channel is this one, Left versus Liberal. Here we go. 2020's not over yet. We're gonna commit a mass suicide tonight. I made a deal a while back, and to put a long story short, I owe some ancient Sumerians about 500 souls. So that's what you're here for tonight.
What's the difference between a liberal and a leftist? This question stumps most people because they think liberal and left are essentially the same. But they're not.
Renowned political scholar Dennis Prager is going to tell us, I'm sure.
In fact, liberalism
Oh God, there he is!
and leftism have almost nothing in common. But the left has appropriated the word liberal so effectively, almost everyone, liberals, leftists, and conservatives, thinks they are synonymous.
So, no. Hot take here, but I would say it's conservative radio show hosts like Dennis Prager here who have essentially been equating everything to the left of Ronald Reagan as essentially all the same. Let's put this another way. Ask your typical Republican the difference between socialism and communism. They can't do it. As far as they're concerned, it's the same thing. Ask them to describe the difference between liberalism and communism. For a lot of them, they actually think it's the same thing. Take a moment out of your day to listen to Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity. It's very obvious where this conflation has come from, and it's not from the left, and it's not from liberals. In fact, most leftists will feel insulted if you call them a liberal. And liberals, well, liberals don't know any better.
Liberals, leftists, and conservatives thinks they are synonymous. But they're not. Let me offer you 6 examples.
Good. PragerU's examples are always rigorously fact-checked and from primary sources. That's sarcasm.
1. Race. This is probably the most obvious difference between liberal and left. The liberal position on race has always been A, the color of a person's skin is insignificant, and B, those who believe race is significant are racists.
Whoa, wait, what?
Meanwhile,
I feel like you're leaving out quite a lot from the liberal position here. Those who believe race is significant are racists. Well, what does significant mean here? Because I'm pretty sure I could ask most liberals, do you think race is significant? And without elaborating on what significant means, they'll pretty much all of them might be like, well, yeah, in some cases. Yes, even liberals will likely agree with that. But you'll have to qualify this some way. Like, is it a significant decision when you're hiring somebody? There might be a difference between a liberal position and a leftist position in hiring someone. Is it significant in the way you're treated by police? I think most liberals probably would agree with that. So using Dennis Prager's framing here, if you think that, hey, you know, your race is significant in how you are treated by a lot of people, would that make the liberal a racist too, by their own logic? No, it's PragerU. It's fucking incoherent. Also, this Asian egghead over here is yellow. That is racist, Dennis Prager. And the black guy's hair is different.
Meanwhile, the left believes the very opposite. To the left, it's the liberal attitude toward race. It's unimportant. That is racist. That's why the university...
Wait, he just... Whoa. How come they get text for their ideas and we don't for the left? This isn't fair.
The left believes the very opposite.
The left believes the very opposite. Okay.
To the left, it's the liberal attitude toward race. It's unimportant. That is racist.
Saying race is unimportant is racist. Well, actually, yes! Not so much in an explicit way, but it's more like if you're ignoring what certain segments of our population have to deal with, you can't really address the problems and fix them. So a liberal attitude, as Dennis Prager would put it, is essentially turning a blind eye to the woes of how many millions of people. But now he's going to give explicit examples. Let's take a look at them.
That's why the University of California officially lists the statement, there is only one race, the human race, as racist. And liberals have always been...
Wait, what? I've never heard this one before. Let me look this up. Like, if you just say that, but then you just don't let in any black people into your school, you can keep saying that, but it doesn't actually mean anything. I'm not gonna fucking subscribe to your shit. Let's see, when I type in University of California, there is only one race. The very first thing that comes up is the Daily Beast. Do we have a quote here? Let's see. Of particular interest is this handout. Okay. File not found. That's nice. Recognizing microaggressions and the messages they send, which is adapted from a book by Columbia University psychology professor, blah, blah, blah. It lists dozens of examples of mundane statements and then explains why each could be racist. Saying there is only one race, the human race, is offensive because it denies the significance of a person of color's racial/ethnic experience in history. Kinda, yeah. A larger thing you gotta ask, under what need do you feel the need to say there's only one race, the human race? That sounds like I'm 13 and this is deep kind of thing. So is there like punishments for this, or is it just to think about these things? I'm not saying anything talking about punishments here. Indeed, the UC system is no stranger to forbidding certain types of speech. Didn't really forbid anything. At least from what I've seen, the PDF was not there. Indeed, the UC system is no stranger to forbidding certain types of speech. Students at the Davis campus are previously required to complete an activity filled with content quite similar to the civility seminars. The activity, Words That Hurt, forced students to affirm that certain phrases, "I'd hit that," or "I raped that exam," etc., were problematic before they could register for classes. Why the fuck would you say "I raped that exam"? What the fuck? Do people like say stuff like that? The fact that this is like listed in here says to me that someone did say this. Sure. Okay. Maybe Prager's right.
And liberals have always been passionately committed to racial integration.
Wait. Dennis, you don't say anything else about it? You just bring it up? Why would you why? You're giving an example. You should expand upon why this is a bad thing. He's not even giving an argument.
And liberals have always been passionately committed to racial integration.
Oh, I don't know about that.
While the left is increasingly committed to racial segregation.
Whoa.
Such as
fucking source?
Such as all black dormitories and separate black graduations at universities.
Whoa. Sounds like you got an issue with black people having fun, Dennis. He doesn't give any explanation as to what they are. There's no sources in the description. That's nice. Let's see. All black dormitory. Oh, look. The second thing is from National Review. I bet that's what he's talking about. Let's see. What do you got for me? Demands for segregated housing at Williams College are not news. It is disturbingly common for American colleges, public and private, to offer segregated dorms, graduation ceremonies, and events. So are they segregated, or is it just like a community thing? I'm willing to bet this probably takes a lot of things out of context. Knowing how these people do their stuff. Can't help but notice, got no sources in here. Like Doc Brown's DeLorean in Back to the Future, many college campuses are racing back to the year 1955. On April 17th, a student newspaper at Williams College endorsed affinity housing for black students and other minorities, which is to say it endorsed segregation. Affinity housing. Let's see what this is. So is this going to be like actual segregation, or is this going to be like a local community? Ugh, that's a lot of words. I don't see anything in here talking about separation. Discuss the organization of student housing around common identities. That's it? It doesn't say anything about this. Oh my god. I feel like my brain's dying. See, I've already spent more time trying to fact check this claim than they spent making the claim. It should be noted there currently exists a de facto system of affinity housing among predominantly white upper-class athletes. How about that? Gee, you know, I would really need a better example if I were going to endorse or condemn this. This claim seems kind of flaky. He also said something about all black graduations.
Black dormitories and separate black graduations at universities.
Kind of sounds like Dennis Prager just doesn't like black people. Black graduation. Let's see what comes up. Now, if I remember this correctly, it's been a few years, but I went to college. I have attended a lot of graduations, both my college and other colleges. And I got some more insight because I've also worked at graduations as an employee, both as a stagehand, cameraman, and employee of the university. And I never quite set up any of these, but if I remember correctly, there wasn't like a separate black graduation. That's absurd. It was more like some communities kind of had their own like parties going on, which is perfectly fine. Yeah, like the Greek life people all have their own special ceremonies too for graduations. It's not a big deal because you still have the official graduation. It's not anything different. I just type black graduation and the first thing that comes up are all EDU stuff. I want something inflammatory. See, this one says, don't hate on black graduation ceremony at Harvard. Usually if like graduation ceremonies are divided, it's usually by like department in your college. Like the engineers have their own and the artists have their own, depending on how big the college is, of course. Harvard will host its first ever black-only graduation ceremony. This is racist and a disgrace to racial progress made over the last 60 years. MLK would be disgusted by this. Well, what is it? I need more info. Harvard will host its first black-only graduation ceremony. Oh, look at this! Let's see, the Ivy League University hosted its second black graduation ceremony Tuesday at Radcliffe Yard. Similar to what took place in 2017, the event was sponsored by the Harvard Black Students Association and was designed to honor the achievements of black graduating students. No degrees were conferred during this ceremony. That practice is reserved for the school's general commencement activities Thursday. So it's just a student thing. This is bullshit, Dennis Prager. Jillian Simmons, co-president of the Harvard Black Graduate Student Alliance, helped plan the event. Last year, only grad students participated in the ceremony, but all students were allowed to attend. Wow. So we've just destroyed PragerU's entire argument here. That was easy. It took more time to destroy the argument than it did for them to say it. Oh, pathetic. How do people believe this? Yeah, also, like, do y'all remember, like some graduations, like they have like a religious ceremony too? That's pretty fucking exclusive to a lot of people, especially at a larger university that attracts people from like all over the world. That's not the left doing those. So basically it is an entirely different event that has nothing to do with the actual graduation or commencement ceremonies. Wow, what a shock. PragerU's just making shit up again. Who could have seen that coming? All right, what you got for me next? Number 2.
Capitalism. Liberals have always been pro-capitalism because
Okay, so far, this is true. So far.
Liberals are committed to free enterprise.
Are they?
And because they know capitalism is the only way to lift great numbers of people out of poverty.
Oh, you got a source on that one, buddy. I don't think you do. Look at that face. There's no fucking evidence behind that. They like to repeat it a lot, but then you look at the rest of the world and it's like, you guys fucking failed pretty miserably. You don't get lifted out of poverty through capitalism. Maybe you do if you're exploiting the labor of other people, but, well, now you're just leaving other people in poverty. That's a little too complex for him to understand. I'm pretty sure, well, maybe, yeah, he understands perfectly. So would you agree, Dennis? Work sets you free?
It is true that liberals want government to play a bigger role in the economy than conservatives do. But liberals never opposed capitalism, and they were never for socialism.
And that's the problem. I like that this video is still moving pretty rapid fire, so you don't really have like a moment to stop and think, hey, a lot of this is just being pulled out of his ass.
Opposition to capitalism and advocacy of socialism are left-wing values.
Yes.
3.
Oh, that's it. That's all he's got. Oh, okay, he was right. Those are left-wing values, in a sense. Can't help but notice, doesn't define socialism, which means I get to define it. Easy. Socialism is workers owning the means of production. Liberals don't want the workers to have a say in that. Liberals want you to be poor. They want you to work for the rest of your life. No, that's not quite true, but they don't know any better. You ever stop and look at the world and realize that everything's just getting worse? No one really seems interested in making it better. And the people that do aren't the people in power. But then all the people in power are liberals or conservative fascists like Dennis Prager. Wonder why that is.
Nationalism.
Do this again.
Liberals believe in the nation state, whether that nation is the United States, Brazil, or France. But because the left divides the world by class rather than by national identity, the left has always opposed.
I'm sorry. This is one of the stupidest arguments they've made. I'm sorry. Wait a minute, Dennis Prager. Just a second ago, you were saying it was the leftists who wanted segregation. Now you're saying it's liberals who want to divide by national identity. You've already contradicted yourself within 2 minutes.
Opposed nationalism. So, while liberals have always wanted to protect American sovereignty and borders, the
Look, these little dots are immigrants. Aww.
left is for open borders.
I guess he's trying to suggest that open borders would destroy the concept of a nation state. That's not true at all. Hey guys, editing attack here. I just realized that in this video, PragerU turned the entire continental United States orange. This is their depiction of what the left wants to do to America's children. They want your children to be cocked orange. The idea of open borders can actually mean like a million different things depending on the context you want to put it. Do you mean open borders like anyone can just travel across any time of day, move in anywhere they want? That's usually what people think. And even if we were to do that, that doesn't inherently destroy the idea of a nation state. What does that have to do with any of this? France joined the EU and everyone else in the EU has free travel. I'm pretty sure France still fucking exists, Dennis.
National identity, the left has always opposed nationalism.
And he doesn't even mention anything about class. He just says class and then drops it.
When the writers of Superman were liberals, Superman was a proud American.
What?
Whose very motto was truth, justice, and the American way.
What? I'm pretty sure people like you and your ideological predecessors would have called the writers of Superman commies.
But that all changed a few years ago when left-wing writers took over the comic strip and had Superman renounce his American citizenship to be a citizen of the world.
What? He's a fucking alien. What do you want? He's Superman. He's got a lot of other shit to do. Did he really renounce his American citizenship? I intend to speak before the United Nations tomorrow and inform them I am renouncing my U.S. citizenship. What? I'm tired of having my actions construed as instruments of U.S. policy. Oh, I bet that makes Dennis sad. So if like Brainiac comes with his big alien ships and he starts attacking China first, is Superman just gonna sit over in the U.S. and not care? No, he's gonna go fucking beat Brainiac's ass.
The left has contempt for nationalism, seeing it as the road to fascism.
Yes.
Better that we should all be citizens of the world.
Yes.
In a world without borders.
Beep, boop, boop. Hello, base department. Oh, what's that? Dennis Prager's already the head of it. That's stupid.
4.
You don't even have an argument to follow it up with? Wow. That's pretty bad.
Seeing it.
How is this the second most viewed video on their channel? He doesn't even follow through with the ideas he's trying to get out.
4. View of America.
View of America.
Liberals have always venerated America.
Oh no, I know where this is going.
Watch American films from the 1930s through the 1950s, and you will be watching overtly patriotic, America celebrating films, virtually all produced, directed, and acted by liberals.
Okay, this is some historical revisionism. I have something to say about this. 1930s to 1950s, you're watching overtly patriotic America celebrating films. 1930s to 1950s was the time of the fucking Hays Code. If you don't know what the Hays Code is, sit down. You're already sitting down, but Professor Attack is going to teach you. Put simply, the Motion Picture Production Code was a set of industry moral guidelines for the self-censorship of content that was applied to most United States motion pictures released by major studios from 1934 to 1968, popularly known as the Hays Code. If y'all aren't familiar with it, it was pretty extremely restrictive on the content you could show in movies and TV. Let's talk about this. Here's like a whole list of stuff that you could not show in movies, like pointed profanity. This includes the words God, Lord, Jesus Christ, hell, SOB, damn, God, every other profane vulgar expression, however it may be spelled, nudity, even in silhouette, illegal traffic and drugs, inference of sex perversion. White slavery. You could not show white people as slaves. Miscegenation. That's a sexual relationship between white and black races. Couldn't do that. Now, usually people think of that between white and black, but that applied to anyone. That also applied to Asian people, Latino people, Native Americans. Doesn't matter. Two different races, you can't have them be together in the same relationship on screen. Sex hygiene and venereal diseases, scenes of actual childbirth and factor silhouette, ridicule of the clergy, willful offense to any nation, race, or creed. They didn't care. They only cared about white people. Let's be real. This didn't happen. They portrayed Native Americans pretty fucking poorly. If you look at like older TV shows, older movies, a really common thing is like there's a married couple, right? They have to sleep in separate beds, even though they're a married couple on the screen, because you can't show them in the same bed because that implies they're having sex. We can't do that. We can't have that in the show because it's the fucking Hays Code. Horrible rules. Horrible time. One of the worst things. Because at the time, they said free speech in the First Amendment didn't apply to movies, did not apply to motion pictures. Thank God we've gotten rid of it. See, I couldn't even say that in the Hays Code. So the fact that Dennis Prager is going back to the 1930s to talk about this, he really had to fucking stretch it there. We can, of course, take this as an implicit endorsement of the Hays Code. I'm sure Dennis Prager would love a second Hays Code, just trampling on the First Amendment rights of fucking everybody.
Virtually all produced, directed, and acted by liberals.
Also, if you were a communist, you couldn't make movies. You were blacklisted. So that's convenient. You would get blacklisted if they thought you were a communist, too.
Quite aware of America's imperfections.
You didn't have to actually be one. They just had to think you were.
Liberals were quite aware of America's imperfections, but they agreed with Abraham Lincoln that America is the last best hope of Earth.
What does this have to do with the movies?
The left, however,
This has nothing to do.
believes the left is the last best hope of Earth.
Oh, man. Can you imagine writing this out like in an essay and turning it in at college? Oh, man. See me after class. Fucking fail. What do you guys want to bet? We're not going to get any sources on what this means.
And regards America as racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, violent, and imperialistic.
It is all of these things.
5.
And he doesn't provide any evidence arguing against those things. He just says they think this. Denny boy, you have to give an argument here. You're just saying stuff. Look, I'll do it for you.
And regards America as racist.
America is racist because this country has committed both the crimes of slavery and a genocide against the Native Americans. We have not taken the actions through our policies to correct these horrible sins that this country has committed, and they are, in other forms, still continuing to this day.
Sexist.
It took a hell of a long time for women to be able to gain the right to vote. Our entire economy was structured for a very long time around the male income earner. Only until around World War II that started to change. And for the most part, the rest of our economy still hasn't fully adapted to it. We don't really teach about consent in schools, and a lot of men really act untowardly towards women. Apparently, they've never been told how to behave. Historically speaking, men have been treated as disposable, being drafted for the military, and being forced into jobs where it's not uncommon for them to, die or get horribly disfigured. And to this date, we still haven't done a whole lot to correct these things. Women still have to deal with massive amounts of sexual harassment and sexual assault. And every time you bring this up online or somewhere else, there's always some reactionary dickwad that raises a stink about it.
Homophobic.
Gay people didn't get the right to marry until 2015. Thanks to the presidency we have today and the Supreme Court, gay people still have to face a horrible amount of discrimination. And in some states, businesses and doctors are allowed to freely discriminate against gay people. Xenophobic. I think we've already covered that with racism.
Violent.
More gun deaths than any other country. More mass shootings than any other country. Our president's got white supremacist gangs now.
And imperialistic.
Yes, our actions with our military and the CIA especially have been imperialistic, but we've got a long history of it, long before the modern iterations of it. Imperialistic, let's see, we've got everything we did taking away the Native Americans' land. We have the Mexican-American War. We've got the Boxer Rebellion. Y'all remember that? I remember that. I wasn't alive for that, neither were you. but I remember that in history class. We got everything we've done with our military and the CIA. Did you know that the Philippines was a territory of the United States once? Yeah, they never taught me that in school. Kind of fucked up a lot of places. This is kind of what we do.
5.
Okay, number 5. Let's go.
Free speech. No one has been more committed than American liberals to the famous statement,
oh boy,
I wholly disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it.
Then die.
But the left is leading the first widespread suppression of free speech in modern American history.
Are you sure about that? Now, I think this is true. A lot of liberals do say this, or still seem to believe this. I'm sure most of you by now have heard of the paradox of tolerance. I should pull it up for my new people. The paradox of tolerance states that if society is tolerant without limit, its ability to be tolerant is eventually seized or destroyed by the intolerant. In order to maintain a tolerant society, the society must be intolerant of intolerance. Basic answer here, you know. We let everyone speak. We let everyone have free speech. This is great. This is good. We let this go on for too long in every possible way, in every possible space, and no one makes any effort to shut some of these people down. Certain people, Nazis, they might get enough attention and start running for office, and now they're going to take away everyone else's rights to free speech. I'm simplifying it. There's like an infographic here. Where does Dennis Prager want to go with this? Does he want to bring that up? What do you think?
But the left is leading the first widespread suppression of free speech in modern American history.
Now, this isn't true at all, considering the people in office, but let's see what you've got for me.
From the universities, to the tech companies that govern the internet, to almost every other institution and place of work.
Okay, this is incoherent. You said leftists hated capitalism, and now you're saying leftists hate free speech, and the examples you're giving are big tech companies, places of work, and institutions. These can't be both. Man, you're just seeing a leftist boogeyman everywhere you look. It's damaging every point you're making.
Of course, the left claims to only oppose hate speech.
Oh, he's not even going to explain how these are leftists? Oh my God, he can't even do it. Why does Dennis Prager not debate anybody? This is why. Because, like, I would call him out on this if he said something like this. Can't have a giant corporation that cares about making money and also be anti-capitalist. These aren't the same. These are incompatible. You also aren't explaining how these care about suppressing free speech. I mean, he's saying it like they're working together. It's a fucking conspiracy. But he's not even explaining how they're suppressing it. He's not even explaining how they're doing it. This is just more of that, ha-ha, wink, wink. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. We're cannibals. I'm assuming he's talking about like Facebook and stuff, but Facebook fires employee who shared proof of right-wing favoritism. You're just making shit up again, Dennis. I could go on about like corporations don't actually feel these things. They are fine with letting fascists take over their platforms because it brings them money and more traffic. But like, I've already given more evidence than the PragerU video has, so we're not going to bother.
To almost every other institution and place of work.
I think what he means when he says place of work here is, they won't let me scream the N-word at the new employees. This is a leftist conspiracy. What else you got for me, huh? Give it to me, baby.
Of course, the left claims to only oppose hate speech.
Not even what I said.
But putting aside the fact that the left deems hate speech anything it differs with, protecting what you or I might consider hate speech is the entire point of free speech.
That's not even the argument I was given. Maybe I'm a bad leftist. I like that once again he doesn't actually give an example for this or explain it. He just said, of course the left claims this. No example. Or nothing else. They say this, they're stupid. Dear viewer, whom I am forcing to watch this video because I paid for YouTube ads thanks to my giant oil money funding, consider the fact that you might be wrong. Therefore, I am right.
6. Western civilization. Liberals have
oh boy.
always championed and sought to protect Western civilization.
Whoa. Give him the fucking swastika armband. You know, it's funny that, like, you know, Dennis Prager loves to play the Jewish identity card all the time, but he sounds indistinguishable from an evangelical neo-Nazi. Funny how that is. You and I already know that a lot of actual Nazis these days use Western civilization to say, like, you know, white people.
Liberals celebrate the West's unique moral, philosophical, artistic...
Our morals? The West's unique morals? What the fuck does that mean? Like slavery?
musical and literary achievements.
Man,
and have taught
fuck all that. We've stolen like half of it from other places.
Them at virtually every university.
Oh no, it's a university thing!
The most revered liberal in American political history, President Franklin Roosevelt, often cited the need to protect Western civilization and even Christian civilization.
Well, he was fucking fighting the Japanese in a world war. I would think he would. But even then, do you give an example? Does he give an example?
Yet when President Donald Trump...
He doesn't give an example!
Civilization and
no! Okay, let's see if we can find one if we Google it. In what context is FDR talking about Western civilization? FDR's last message to the American people. Okay, West does not come up, but civilization does. Today we are faced with the preeminent fact that if civilization is to survive, we must cultivate the science of human relationships, the ability of all peoples of all kinds to live together and work together in the same world at peace. Okay, so that's kind of contradictory to what you said. I don't see any quotes from him talking about Western civilization. Oh, to continue reading this, you must be a Bloomberg News subscriber. I can't help but notice that the National Review stuff didn't say that. Okay, so there's nothing. FDR, Christian civilization. Maybe we'll find some of this. This is already giving me weird sights. This is a book written by some crazy other person. President Roosevelt stated, "The 400th anniversary of the printing of the first English Bible is an event of great significance. This is true. We trace not only a measurable increase in the cultural value and influence of this greatest of books, but a quickening in the widespread dissemination of those moral and principal precepts that have so greatly affected the progress of Christian civilization." That's it? At the Pan American Conference in Buenos Aires, we discussed Americans might have to become the guardian of Western culture, the protector of Christian civilization. That's it? That's all you got? You know, I don't trust this source, so we're just going to move on.
Christian civilization. Yet when President Donald Trump spoke of...
Now, you know, this is already an entirely different context when Donald Trump says it, though.
...protect Western civilization in a speech in Warsaw, the left-wing media, also known as the mainstream...
Oh, look, I think I found the video. This is going to sound like some Nazi shit. I am positive.
This continent no longer confronts the specter of communism. But today we're in the West, and we have to say there are dire threats to our security.
It might be those Jews. You never know.
The fundamental question of our time is whether the West has the will to survive.
Oh, no. Whether the West has the will to survive? Is this like Triumph of the Will? Yep. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. The Nazi film. I don't even remember this speech. When I said this was going to be some Nazi shit, I was just like, the parallels to Trump are like 1-to-1. Didn't think he'd say that.
Do we have the confidence in our values to defend them at any cost?
Do we have the confidence to defend them at any cost? Y'all remember that Disney film about dying for Germany? That is, of course, part of fascist propaganda. Everyone must be prepared to die for the state. Yeah, okay, education for death.
Yet when President Donald Trump spoke of the need to protect Western civilization in a speech in Warsaw, the left-wing media...
Yeah. It's pretty fucking different when he does it.
Yeah, also known as the mainstream media, denounced him.
Don't do this. This snuck premise thing where you leave like a snide little comment in the middle of a sentence. Don't do that. That's like a Ben Shapiro-ism. It's annoying and it just makes them want to strangle you. And I also, as I mentioned earlier, left-wing media, also known as the mainstream media. Mainstream media is giant fucking corporations. And you said the left hates capitalism. You can't be a giant corporation and hate capitalism. This is incompatible. Of course, also goes back to what I said earlier. Propagandists like Dennis Prager here, he's just as responsible for conflating leftism and liberalism together because everything to the left of Reagan is basically communist to him. So it served to his benefit to equate these two together, as incoherent and nonsensical as it may be. Also, it's good they denounced him because fuck that.
They argue that Western civilization is no better than any other, and that
nope, that's not the argument I made. Try harder, baby.
And that Western civilization is just a euphemism for white supremacy.
Now that is what I said. Ding, ding, ding. We got a winner. So hold up here. I got a couple issues with this. So him saying that the leftist position is Western civilization is no better than any other, this implies that he disagrees with this. So that means he thinks Western civilization is superior, huh? That's a Nazi argument. The leftists also believe that Western civilization is just a euphemism for white supremacy. Like, you just did it in the same frame, in the same slide. You just did a white supremacy by saying Western civilization is superior.
So then, if liberalism and leftism are so different, why don't liberals oppose the left?
Because the left is right and the right is wrong?
In a nutshell, because they have been taught all their lives to fear the right.
Yeah, because the right-wing people are like goddamn fascists, and meanwhile people on our side are like, hey, this might be a hot take, but I think we should treat minorities with decency. And that makes me a radical Marxist, I guess.
But as one of the best-known liberals in America, Harvard Law School professor Alan Dershowitz said...
He's quoting... What? I don't remember this. Alan Dershowitz? Best known liberal? What? I've never heard that before. Fucking lawyer for Jeffrey Epstein, defense team for Harvey Weinstein, and defense for the impeachment trial of Donald Trump. I don't think this is a liberal, guys. Yeah, Dershowitz has offered commentary on the legal issues of Donald Trump that have been polarizing among liberals and Democrats. He's been perceived to offering defenses of Trump's more controversial actions, so he's a fascist. Oh, we're not even gonna bother. Chapel Trap House is a thing on him.
Said,
that's fine.
As a liberal, as an American,
hey, how do you do, fellow kids?
I far more fear the left than the right.
Oh, okay.
Dear liberal.
And there's no reason for this. He doesn't explain. Wait, what?
Oh.
They've been taught all their lives
but as one of the
to fear the right. And here's Alan Dershowitz saying he fears the left. Why? You're not giving anything to back this up. This is trash content.
Dear liberals, conservatives are not your enemy. The left is.
This is big 30 Rock, Tracy Jordan energy. Dear black people, don't vote.
Black people, don't vote.
Yeah, same energy. So what year did this come out again? 2018. So what he's trying to do, it's like an appeal to liberals saying, I am terrified of that colored coterie in Congress.
Dear liberals, conservatives are not your enemy. The left is.
He doesn't even give a good explanation for why that is. It's just 6 minutes of Dennis Prager jerking off. So that was trash. How the fuck is this the second most viewed thing? 15 million views? Man, they must have some real good money to pump into this shit. Cause that was embarrassingly bad. And look at this. No sources. No explanations. For the complete script to go here, what are we gonna get? Oh, look! Not found. Hit a route that doesn't exist. Wow. Video views and counting. 4 billion video views. That's horrifying. Well, are you guys dead yet? I'm sorry. I'm dying. I'm dying too.
To help keep these videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
To my Patreon. Oh, not to Dennis Prager. To me, baby. All right, everyone, we got through this. To keep the videos free, consider donating to me. I don't fucking care. I'd like to give thanks to all my Patreon backers. Critch, Dios, Elsie Hup, George, Jai Palamo, and Willie Wings. Thank you, everyone. That's right, baby. We got another video out this month. I'm not gonna get my big Dave Rubin video done by the end of October because shit sucks, man, and it's a really involved video, but it'll be done by the end of the year. Maybe we'll get another video like this out. That might be cool. Bye.